What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap, and today we're going to look at some new looser visa measures for the country of Thailand. Am I going to take advantage of them when I fire? So on July 15th of 2024, some new visa measures came into effect in Thailand after being published in the Royal Gazette. There were 4 measures announced. The first one increases the list of countries that are able to get a visa on arrival for tourist purposes up to 15 days from 19 to 31 countries. Another measure kind of revises the educational or ED visa, allowing graduates of undergraduate or graduate level coursework in Thailand to stay for up to 1 year. This would allow them to seek employment or take part in other activities. And then the other 2 are a little bit more applicable to someone like me that's looking to fire or achieve financial independence and retire early in Thailand. The first is a massive increase in the number of countries that are able to get a visa waiver, and also an increase in the amount of time that they can stay there from 30 days to 60 days. Then the second is the DTV visa, but more on that later. So let's talk about this 60-day visa exemption. There's now 93 countries whose citizens can travel to Thailand and stay for up to 60 days for the purposes of tourism or for short-term business. This used to be about 30 days, so we're extending it to really quite a long time. And there has been talk that you could extend it even beyond that, from 60 days to 90 days once you're in country. In theory, this could allow you to come in and be able to stay for 2 months, apply for the extension, be able to stay for 90, and then do a border run. If you had to do a border run in order to get a new tourist visa, essentially, every 90 days, then you'd only have to do that 4 times a year, because you'd be able to, basically get 1 quarter's worth of stay each time. However, many countries that have had these sort of porous borders where people are essentially abusing the tourist visa system. There's the possibility that immigration could clamp down, seeing this pattern, and deny someone entry. And that's one reason why definitely I won't be pursuing this, also because it is kind of a hassle to have to leave the country on a schedule every 90 days and also to get that extension. And so really just not something that I'm interested in personally. So how about this Destination Thailand Visa? Well, this one's a really big deal. It is a 5-year multi-entry visa that allows a person to stay in Thailand for 180 days per stay. You can extend it once per stay, I think paying a fee, which would then get you up to 360 days. But in order to continue living in Thailand, you then have to leave at that point and then come back in and then go from there. The purpose of the visa can be 3 things. One, of course, is spousal or dependent. That makes sense, right? You want to be able to bring your family. The other 2, though, are the interesting one. One is workcation. In other words, catering to digital nomads, freelancers, that kind of thing. And then the second one is the Thai soft power, which is a really interesting one. So let's look at the workcation one first for digital nomads. All of these 3 different categories of the Destination Thailand Visa are going to require a few things. Of course, your identification, who you are, but also proof that you have 500,000 baht. In other words, just a financial show that you're not going to be destitute after arriving in Thailand. So this is about $16,000-ish. Depending on the exchange rate, but the Thai embassy in Washington is saying $16,000, and this would have to be either in a checking or a savings account. This is not something that you could have like a brokerage statement because the valuation, of course, would fluctuate, and certainly not crypto, right? We're talking about liquid assets here. And then specifically for the workcation or digital nomad category, you'd have to show an employment contract or a certificate of employment or a professional portfolio. And this last one's probably the one that's going to be most open to interpretation. Probably depends on who's reviewing your particular application. I don't know. There's just not very detailed requirements that have been put out in terms of what will qualify for a portfolio of work. So I don't know if a YouTuber could just take a screenshot of their YouTube thing Others have created sort of a letter of employment to themselves from their company, that kind of thing. So we'll just have to see how this all shakes out. But really probably the more impactful one is this Thai soft power one, where you could go for just Muay Thai classes, Thai cooking classes. It says seminars and musical events as well. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go in practice, if you can just show, hey, I have concert tickets, and then, be able to get this 5-year visa really off the back of just one concert ticket. I think also you can do medical tourism. So if you had a hospital appointment, letters from the hospital, you can also use that as well, it looks like. So this really does seem like both of these measures combined, all of these measures combined, really look like they're opening up the border and trying to get a lot more foreign nationals to come in and spend money. So because, they are trying to vitalize the economy, of course. But a lot of things do remain unclear, even though, this policy is now in effect and you can apply for these visas out of the country. By the way, you're not meant to apply for them while you're in Thailand. You've got to be out of the country and apply through the consulate or embassy in your country. So what remains unclear is exactly, again, what kind of documentation or events are going to qualify. We don't have a lot of detail on that. It is possible that this was left intentionally vague, so that they can see how this policy goes and then tighten that particular section up as they need to in the future. That seems kind of wise to me. And then the other part that remains vague is whether or not we need to continue to meet the visa requirements throughout the 5-year period. Because, well, hey, let's say that I signed up on the soft power thing and I did some cooking classes for a year. What about year 2, year 3, year 4, right? Do I need to continue to show that? When is it that I need to show that documentation? Is it going to be on visa extension? Is it on re-entry? These things are still unclear. Same thing for the workcation and the financial requirement as well. Do we need to continue to show bank statements? How is that all going to work? Now, I think in the past for similar types of programs, basically once you get it, they're not all that stringent about keeping up on it. I think with the LTR, you need to show it at the 5-year period, kind of the halfway point of the 10 years. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes. But then the next big question is this something that I'm going to be taking advantage of? And in my particular situation, I don't think it really makes all that much sense, unfortunately. See, this is a 5-year visa. I'm actually just about to turn 40, so that would get me to the age of 45 if I were to fire anytime soon. 45, 46, something like that. But that's not old enough then to get the next visa, which would be either a retirement visa or the LTR Wealthy Pensioners Visa. You need to be at least 50 years old for those. And so then I'd be left kind of stuck, because this DTV visa, as of right now, is a visa you can only get one time, and then you have to get a different kind of visa after that. So you might say, well, Dan, what if you get married? Then that's an option. Well, sure, but an option isn't something that I want to plan for. Certainly, I don't want to plan that kind of a thing. That's something that will happen or will not happen organically. We shall see. So what am I going to do, since I need to bridge that gap between age 45 and 50? Is again still looking at the privilege card, the Thai, formerly called the Thai Elite Visa. This is a program that gives you a 10-year visa, and that will get me from age 40 all the way to age 50. It is expensive. It's 1.5 million baht. Whereas this visa here that we're talking about, again, is only about $400. Another reason why I'm looking at the Thai Elite Visa and not this DTV is that, well, I'm not really sure, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, whether or not the Thai government will want to continue to pursue this path. Because, well, if it does really bring all that many long-term residents, this is really going to increase crowding. It's going to increase competition for a lot of resources, so that could raise rents and all kinds of other prices. And I'm not sure that they're going to be really happy with that kind of inflation and crowding. So we'll see. It just depends on how popular the program is and how much impact it has. And then it also is kind of a big shift from where before they looked like they were trying to attract a lot more sort of well-to-do individuals that would, spur more economic activity in the country. Where here we're looking at kind of like a wider mass market, because a lot of people will probably try to qualify for the financial requirement with just a guarantor, something like that, rather than actually, having the funds. And, these funds are not required to be put in a Thai bank. They can just be shown, on a statement from your foreign country. And then even that, I don't know, hopefully no one's going to be forging things, but people forge things. So I just I'm not that certain that this is really a path that they're going to stick to and a program that they're going to continue to support for a long time. So I'm certainly not going to bank on them extending it and allowing you to get another DTV visa after the first one. Now, one final note is that a DTV visa holder is not exempt from tax if they become a tax resident from Thailand. Any individual who lives in Thailand for 180 days or more within a calendar year becomes a tax resident. And as of the new rules that begin implemented this year, January 1, 2024, any income that is remitted to the country of Thailand is taxable. And of course, this is subject to dual tax agreements and all that stuff. But this has become even more official, especially for foreigners, as the Thai Revenue Department has put out basically some slides, a little document that goes over all this information. It lets you know what the conditions are and what's changed. It's got a handy little table that lets you know that income that was earned before January 2024 that's brought into Thailand is not taxable. That, of course, would have to be savings. That would be, liquid assets, not invested assets again. And then, of course, if it's brought in, the income that's earned after that, this tax year and this calendar year and forward, then, if you're a tax resident, then you do have an obligation. If you're not a tax resident, then obviously you don't. Then they tell us which tax form to use. Of course, this is a personal income tax form from Thailand, which is PN90 or PN91, depending on your situation. And it does talk a little bit about the double tax agreements, but it is yet to be seen exactly how those are going to be applied and how easy that's going to be to do. That could be quite difficult. We shall see. Anyway, that's enough about the taxes. I just wanted to point it out that none of these visa schemes, except for the LTR, the long-term visa, this one, it does exempt you from paying tax on foreign income. So that's a pretty great one if you can meet the qualifications as a wealthy pensioner or a wealthy global citizen, etc. Otherwise, one still needs to make sure that they know whether or not they're going to be a tax resident of Thailand and then act appropriately. So again, personally, I'm going to get the 10-year elite visa. And then this way I have some certainty that, I'll have the ability to stay in the country in Thailand until the age of 50, when I can then look at the age 50 plus options. I will, of course, be a tax resident for any year that I spend over 180 days or 180 days or more in the country. And then, of course, I'll be following the laws and all that kind of stuff. What do you think about the new visa measures, specifically the 60-day visa waiver and also the DTV visa? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you found today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.